I don't care what business you're in. There's a huge difference between being like a general practitioner and having a niche. I saw a quote the other day, and I've never heard this before. I've been telling people this for years, to niche down in the insurance industry. The quote said, "There's riches in the niches." I thought it was funny, but it's true. And new agents, I don't get it, but new agents that get in their head, it's like you're afraid to lose one person. I know tons of people that drive cars and are homeowners. I do not possess a property and casualty license, nor do I care to track that down. There are certain areas that go together, like property and casualty, for instance. You should sell homeowners and automobile insurance. It'd be really weird to only offer one. They're two different policies. Some people aren't homeowners. They only rent or they live with family. You have people that own homes that don't own cars. Life insurance is a huge spectrum. I don't care, even if you're just focusing on term, that's not enough of a niche. You are not narrowing down, okay? We're not teachers, first of all. If you're getting your life insurance, your life and health license to be able to teach people how to pass the test, then sure, by all means, go for it. If you're trying to generate a school and you want to train people on these classes, but that's not what most people I'm talking to are doing. Like people talk to you. I'm not the only person running an agency that deals with this. I've talked to tons of other recruiters and managers that deal with it. We make fun of it, not in the sense that the people that do this don't have vision, but somebody who doesn't have a license at all. Okay, here's what I run into. I talked to a person, I interviewed a guy about 3-4 months ago. He's got good communication skills, networking, the whole 9 yards. And he had an uncle that convinced him to get into the insurance industry. Now, his uncle was pretty vague, but his uncle pointed him in the right direction. He said, get an insurance license, sell insurance. It's something that people are always going to need. And his uncle barely even understood like the residual, the renewal factor. He looked at it more from the better you take care of your clients, the more those clients will refer people to you. So it's a stream of referral business and you're not paying from leads, which hands down, that's amazing. And the kid should have stopped listening to his uncle right then and there. The amount of time, energy, and stress somebody has to put into breaking away from your day-to-day, something you focus on narrowly. Like I run a final expense agency. It's whole life. Just like I mentioned a minute ago, if you're selling term, that's still too broad. Okay, there are people who sell whole life that focus on another category, another group of people. Universal index policies. If they're sold right, that's a good niche. The bulk of you dumb shits out there that are telling people that it's an investment should be horsewhipped in a town square. That's not what it's for. And if you really want to use an insurance product as an investment, hike up your skirt and get a variable insurance policy or a variable annuity. It's the only way you're going to make real money. But whole life is broad. There's lots of different ways you can go with it. But final expense is one of the most talked about careers in the insurance industry when you're researching stuff. If you're researching it, if you're new, you're trying to get into it. Whether you're coming this direction or not, you go through so much training, so much knowledge. If you're a final expense with an IMO and you're a broker, it's already hard enough just to try to understand the 6 to 10 different companies you're dealing with, their underwriting, their style, what they require. Those aspects are hard enough, right? But then to try to understand all of that same information for 10 different lines. I want to be your property and casualty guy. I want to be if you're going to sell Medicare, sell Medicare. If you're going to focus on small businesses, entrepreneurs, people like myself that need health insurance for them and a handful of employees, even if you're going large and you're trying to take over a whole book, a whole corporation with 200, 300 employees, and you're trying to get that whole book of business renewed into your name, switching carriers, whatever. Focus on that. Get really good at it, right? You figure out what the client wants, what they need, get really good in your niche, and don't be afraid to miss out on $1,000. You're literally stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. The amount of time that I lose being able to focus on clients or focus on recruiting, both of those streams are how you grow a final expense agency. I'm pulling away from training, from recruiting, from dealing with my clients and writing new business to sit down, go to a class, go through all the steps to get a PNC, not even knowing where I'm going to start, right? If I were to do that, just so that I can say, hey, I also have this, and I also have partner up with somebody. Husband and wife, create a team. If one of you has been or is just now selling final expense, even if you're doing final expense with Medicare, those two overlap. You're dealing with the same client. It's not that big of damage control, I guess. Maybe that's not the right word. But if you're backing away from all of your clients' life insurance needs because it's October and you're trying to only write Medicare at that point, well, at the end of the day, if you're realistically in the insurance business to help people, all the referrals, you're going to put those people off. You're not going to write insurance. You're not going to take leads. You're not going to go see people to write them a life insurance policy because you got hooked into some dialer somewhere so that you can write Medicare. And then that's it. You just blow that up. And then the rest of the year, like if you're not intertwining them as your niche, like a senior product, right? You're spending a lot of time maintaining just the credits, going through the class, keeping your license, everything else that you've got to do. The only thing I can figure out is like these people want to wear the crown, right? They want to be able to walk into a room and when somebody's talking about insurance, there's not a product that somebody's talking about that they can't say, hey, I can help you out with that. When I first got into the insurance business, I worked for a company and I had access to a ton of products. I didn't understand them all, but I had access to them. And as a newbie, sure, if my main focus was like key man insurance, things like that, if I'm walking into a business to deal with a business owner and they're like, I need this plus my wife, her company only offers X amount in coverage. She needs more coverage as well. Sure. That product is available, and if he's talking like a simple 10 or 20-year term for $250,000, bundling that in with the whole package, you're not going crazy. It's already part of something that your carrier does. But hey, I'm going to get my life insurance license. I'm going to build this life insurance career, and I can't stomach somebody else writing them their Medicare policy, so I have to have that. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to keep up with all of the Medicare requirements, which is insanity. Like the people that only sell Medicare, like there's a reason those people, like Medicare only agents, make the money that they do versus everybody that has a life and health license that tries to attach to Medicare only writes a handful of policies a year. And you really need to look at it. Find somebody else in the industry and do a side-by-side comparison. How many policies are you not writing? Go back to the last year, 2 years, 3 years of when you were just doing this thing, whatever that thing is. And how much money are you giving up from something you're really good at or that you're pursuing getting really good at to enter a new arena that doesn't cross into the same area as spending time improving one's self. If you're looking to switch channels in the insurance industry, sure. But when you're coming to the table and you want to succeed, if you want to make 50, 60, 70 grand and work your face off to spread across 10 different product channels, sure. I don't know. I'll put it to you like this. There's independent agents. I don't care what brokerage you're working at. I don't care if you're just running one product, like on the final expense side, okay? An agent that is grinding, taking leads every week, working their system, following up with their book of business, getting referrals, still buying leads, running a system day in and day out. Those agents, I know because I've been one for 10 years, make more money than the guy down the street. Most 90% of the people that own your local brick and mortar agencies that have 2 or 3 people sitting at a desk to help them write policies, and they're collecting commissions. Farmers, State Farm, when those guys walk away, they don't even keep that book. It's the agents that have massive insurance agencies that are predominantly agents that are doing well, the owners that do well, that are predominantly home and auto. Those agents typically, like the place I've had my life or my car insurance at for probably the last 10 years. He's got 10 offices in Ohio, a few in some other states. I know 1 or 2 in Florida. And if I didn't sell life insurance or know people to go after, and I needed a life insurance policy, the lady that wrote my auto policy with that agency she's got her life insurance license, but doesn't handle life insurance whatsoever. He has 2 or 3 specialists planted that handle that. The brick and mortar shops that grow large, the person that owns the company, you get to a point, you own the agency, sure, I want 2 or 3 people handling the annuity business for this company, 2 or 3 people handling the life insurance, 2 or 3 people handling the property and casualty. But that's from an owner standpoint. You as an agent, until you reach the point where that's needed, niche down. And even then, like an office that is only focusing on that niche product, they're not going to lose any money. Those agencies just simply started in the property and casualty business. And some of those carriers require a certain amount of life insurance policies to be on the books to keep a certain commission structure, commission level, right? So you've got 2 teams. One waits until the end of the year, and then it's like a fire sale. They don't care who they sell it to. They hit the bare minimum. They're not even in it for the commission for those life insurance policies. They're literally doing it to not lose the tier that they're on with that carrier for the home and auto policies. If you're going to sell life insurance, that's not narrow enough. Figure out what interests you. I got into final expense. Not really a coin toss. Like I said, when I started, I worked for a company. We sold a lot of different products. I really didn't have anybody in the office that helped me channel a vision. We came up with a couple of different ideas, and I tried to run with it. But ultimately, the company that I was at had 0 lead sources, and I was not a marketing person. All I knew was I didn't have millions of dollars to run a commercial with my face on it on TV to get these people to call me. And I didn't have the money to hire a lead company to send out a bunch of mailers all over the state of Ohio for me, right? So I needed to go to a place that had leads. When I went to Lincoln Heritage, 90% of the reason that I landed there was they had an in-house lead system. I knew if I got in front of people, I could sell a policy. It just so happened that as I started doing it, I realized that final expense is nowhere near as chaotic as sitting down with somebody and doing a fully underwritten life insurance application. All the information that you've got to gather, the steps, the people that do it, they're good at it, and that's what they're going after, and there's nothing wrong with it, but stay in that lane if that's what you want to do. If you're trying to do 5 different insurance products to hit the number that you want to hit yearly, to not even just to pay your bills. If you're one of these people, you've been doing this for 6 months or a year, and you're doing a bunch of different stuff, seriously, put pen to paper and do an audit of yourself. How much time does each channel cost you, and how much is each one of them making? And which one can you explain A to Z, every product, every carrier that you deal with in that niche, forward and backward, without questioning yourself, without having to look anything up? Somebody walks up and just starts talking about how they had an issue with this company or they don't understand that, and you don't have to check anything, but hands down, that's your lane. Stay there. I knew that when I first understood what a final expense product was, it was based on the health lead company that I found at the time, gave me a discount on a bunch of leads that had health problems, but I was writing fully underwritten stuff, so it didn't make sense to me. And then one of my reps explained to me that we had this guaranteed issue product, and another rep actually told me what some of the other carriers I've dealt with offer. She said, you have these people and you can write them in these 4 or 5 products. And it made sense. I spent this lead company at the time, I think they got bought out, but these leads still exist. It's one of those lead carriers where when you buy it, 4 other people are getting it, but if not more. But they told me up front, I knew that, but it was the cost. I was broke. I needed to talk to people. So that's where I went with it. Fast forward, went with a company that had an in-house lead system. It wasn't necessarily that the in-house mattered to me. I didn't even know why that mattered to me at the time. I realized it later. But I needed leads. They had a lead system in-house, once a week, twice a week, however often, however fast I was running through those people, however many people I needed to see, I had access to leads. I didn't have to go back to the drawing board every couple of weeks to figure out what area, do it here, do it there, how do I expand, how do I change the wording. When you're starting in this business, you're starting as an agent. Your goal, your job is to get in front of as many people as you can to help them with the policies they're looking for that you offer. So for me to also wear another hat, to spend hours upon hours every single day, every single week, trying to narrow down which verbiage works best on a mailer, that's not me. I don't. There's no way. I was never going to get in front of anybody, even if I had the money, which I didn't. So when I do these interviews and they're like, oh, I'm doing Medicare and I got these 2 or 3 other companies to write these annuities. Why? And if you're one of these people and you're interviewing, if your first 6 months in this business, every 3 weeks you're reaching out to another company, another carrier, just to figure out what they're doing. The place you're at right now was the best thing you'd ever heard of last week when you went there, or 2 or 3 weeks ago. And that's the 3rd place you've landed since you've been licensed, and you got your license in January. Stop. Figure something out. Stay where you're at for a minute. If it's truly garbage, it's truly garbage. But get out. But stop. Like, you are hurting yourself. Do a audit on yourself. How much time are you spending every single day on these things? What's actually making you money? It's okay if one of the things that's not making you money is making somebody else in the industry a lot more, even if they've only been in it around the same time as you have. That's the thing they figured out, right? If you've played any sport, not everybody is going to be the quarterback. Not everybody's going to be the offensive line. Some people are on special teams. Special teams exist for a reason. If that's your position, get really good at it. Football would be a terrible sport if every single kicker was just like, nah, I don't want to be really good at like baseball, and I was supposed to be the quarterback, and I'm gonna take up rowboating next week because nobody. But what if they need me here? They don't. They need you to kick the ball, right? They need you for the extra point. They need you to punt. Focus on one thing. Research your doctor. Who makes more money? Your general practitioner or any specialist you've ever heard of. One of my old managers talked about this a ton in meetings, that like a hand doctor, I don't know what it's called, but he brought it up several times. A hand doctor averages like $200 and some odd $1,000 a year versus a general practitioner, your family doctor, maybe scratching 6 figures. And by the way, if you're good, if you're just decent, you're pretty good, but like not baller status as a final expense agent, you're going to make more than your family doctor and your parents' family doctor. Then when you walk in that office, the person that is treating you for your health care, prescribing you medication, sending you out referrals. And why are they sending you referrals? To a brain specialist, a cardiologist, somebody that deals with cancer? Because that person went a little further and studied that information. They are knowledge in that section of healthcare. They are much better at than most of the people in their field. And that's why they can charge more money. So if you get good at one of these damn things, just one, let it go. 12 years, 13 years, I've been an agent. I have never like sat down and threw myself a pity party because somebody that I know or one of my clients I found out took out an annuity 6 months ago or yesterday. Right? That's a book I've got to maintain. That's a relationship I've got to keep active between them and the carrier because they're going to have questions about it and I deal with it, right? Don't do that. Stop listening to your uncles, okay? Stop listening to the person that sold life insurance for Primerica 10 years ago and never made it out of the classes. The farthest they made it was 10 sit-downs with their friends and family members so that their manager could sell that person and try to recruit them and keep the business when your uncle or your cousin or your dad's drinking buddy didn't make it past like week 4. If that person never made it, they were never any good at it. I'm not like there's a difference between somebody who has a career in something for a period of time that switched careers versus the guy that tried to do this part-time in between his full-time job, raising his family, his golf, and his drinking buddies. You're not going to get rich talking about this, selling policies to the same 5 guys you drink beer with every week. Stop taking that person's advice on how to run your career. Whether or not you're looking at this field in the final expense market, if you are getting into insurance whatsoever, do yourself a favor. Find a niche. The more narrow focused that niche, the more you will understand your product. And remember, there's so many people out there that are lumping what I've done for a career, lumping final expense products in with what they normally do. If there's 2 or 3 of me versus 30 of those people, the bulk of the people that are dealing with those people that just willy-nilly end up with that policy absolutely have no idea what they have. That's why so many people with these policies that I run into don't even realize what the purpose is beyond it just being a life insurance policy, what they can do for you, what the company can do, what, the knowledge a final expense agent has within the funeral industry. And policies half the time are not used properly at the funeral home, claims not filed properly to get the money into the family's hands. It's because some moron sold them a policy that only understood it as a life insurance policy. Don't be the next moron. Find your niche. Get rich. There's riches and niches. I guess that's weird for me to say. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. The only person, what was it, 2 people in sports that didn't have to niche down was Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders. Outside of those 2, you're not going to be the Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders of the insurance industry. Just be the Michael Jordan of the insurance product you're looking to sell. It's that simple. And yes, Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan